Hey everyone, welcome to SoCraftastic. Today's video is a project that has been requested for such a long time by so many people. It is resin, finally, and this is a guide for beginners. So any of you who have not done resin can learn from this video how to do so many different types of really cute charms and pendants that you can put on jewelry or a keyring, or you could even use them as magnets for your fridge. And I keep pulling my necklace. You can use them for whatever you want. They're really cute and pretty easy to do, but I was really afraid to use resin for a really long time, and I realized that it's not as scary as I was thinking. So without further ado, because this is going to be a long tutorial, let's get into the video. In this video, I'm using EasyCast clear casting epoxy. There are quite a few different brands of resin you could get, but I was able to use a 40% off coupon on this at Michael's, so I thought, why not try it? The box comes with two different bottles. One is the resin, of course, and the other is hardener. It is extremely important to measure out equal parts from each bottle. It's also really important to read all the instructions that come with the product. For example, the bottles are supposed to feel warm to the touch, not cool before you begin. I don't really know why, but I did it anyway just to make sure I didn't mess anything up, so I warmed them with my hands. You could also run them under some warm water. This stuff is toxic and it could irritate your skin, so it's best to wear gloves while working with it. Also, please work near an open window or in a well-ventilated area. The fumes aren't strong, but they probably still aren't very good to breathe. Optionally, you could wear a face mask for extra protection as well. Once you pour both parts into a disposable or silicone cup, it is time to mix. My best advice is to use a popsicle stick for mixing. You can get a huge bag for really cheap. The objective is to mix really, really slowly, like a sloth in that movie Zootopia. That was hilarious. And you want to do this for at least 2 minutes. Try to get rid of all the ribbons or streaks you can see here. And during the process, be sure to scrape the popsicle stick around the sides and the bottom of the cup, as well as on top like I'm doing here. Just kind of scrape it off a few times and back into the container. The instructions inside the box say to mix in 2 different cups for best results. Unless maybe I read that wrong. I've seen so many people use just 1 cup to mix and have it turn out perfectly, so just kind of do what you want, but I am doing everything I can not to mess this up. So that's why I'm taking extra precautions and being a stickler to the rules. By the way, my paper cup does not have a wax lining. You don't want to use those, I guess. Anyway, mix for at least another minute or until all the streaks are completely gone. If you mix slowly, there shouldn't be many bubbles, but for the few that I do see, I'm blowing into a straw to pop them. Finally, it's time to pour the mixture into a mold. It is recommended to use mold release, but this is a rule I'm not following because I have never done that and they've always come out for me, but it's just so the pieces don't possibly get stuck. But like I said, it's up to you. You can use either a plastic mold or a silicone mold. And if you do see bubbles after you pour, you can of course pop them with a straw or even a long lighter. Just be really, really careful with this option and don't hold the flame in one area for too long because it could burn the mold. Now comes time for the sprinkles. That's why I came to this video, right? If you want them to show up on the front, pour some, I almost sang the Def Leppard song there. Pour some in right away and they'll sink to the bottom. To save yourself some hassle, I recommend sprinkling them in with your fingers, so pour them out on the table and then just kind of drop them in so they don't bounce around on the mold like this, but it's a very easy problem to solve if you do that. In addition to sprinkles, you can use stickers to decorate your resin pieces. Just keep in mind, paper ones will get ruined, so you have to encase them with some clear tape. Stick 1 piece on the front and 1 on the back. Makeshift lamination basically. Make sure it's sealed well before cutting around the image. Then place that face down into a thin layer of resin. Move the sticker around until it no longer floats and decorate however you wish. Again, I am using some sprinkles here, this time a different kind. If you happen to be using a foil sticker, well, my friend, you have just made life a little bit easier for yourself because you don't have to coat those in tape. Just go ahead and pop it right into the mold. These tiny magenta flowers are actually sequins, but you can also use shaped sprinkles such as these star ones I'm pairing with a Hello unicorn sticker. Hello! And some glitter. Lots and lots of glitter. P.S. If you're enjoying this video and have not yet subscribed, please click the red subscribe button so our SoCraftastic family can grow to over 2 million. By the way, when I added glitter, the resin had been sitting in the molds for probably 45 minutes or so. If you add glitter right away, it could sink in front of the sticker, so make sure the resin looks a bit tacky when you stick in a toothpick. Going back to the sprinkle piece, at least an hour has passed since I put in the ones that sunk to the bottom, so now any new ones I add will actually stay on top and look like a different layer. Pretty cool. Another option for decorating your pieces is Pearl-Ex powder. This stuff is really pretty, and it's basically just a pigment that you can apply with a paintbrush once the resin is tacky. I got it from Michael's. So now my pieces have dried overnight for about 18 to 20 hours, and I'm preparing to pour a second layer. An advantage of using a clear mold is that you can take a photo of what's already there so you don't forget which stickers and colors were used. I've went ahead and mixed a new batch of resin the same way I showed you at the beginning, and I'm going to divide it into multiple cups so I can color each one differently. Keep in mind, paper cups do start to slowly leak from the bottom after a while, so covering your work area with wax paper or plastic is absolutely necessary to avoid a mess. I'm testing some white acrylic paint here, but it turned out flaky and didn't color the resin. Maybe it's just the brand that I used because I've seen acrylic paint work in many other tutorials, but either way, I also have white puffy paint on hand, so that did work and it worked perfectly. Just go ahead and add a little bit at a time until you get the shade you want. There are also special colorants made just for resin, but I don't have any of those to show you. So I mixed in Pearl-Ex powder and glitter here as well. Then I'm filling the molds the rest of the way to make the charms thicker. By the way, you don't have to do 2 layers. You could just fill your molds completely with 1 layer like I did at the beginning, just fill it higher up. But I thought I'd show you how to go the extra mile and add more variety to your pieces. All in one video, you know? I tested a bunch of different decorating techniques, so after I pop out the hardened pieces the next day, I can see which processes I'd like to repeat in the future, as well as those that I never want to do again just because they look like garbage. Hopefully they're all good. But anyway, I let them all sit for about 24 hours, then pop them out one at a time. The rubbery silicone mold makes this process go by in a snap, but the plastic mold is slightly less cooperative. It's still really quick and easy though, just letting you know it will take you a couple extra seconds. At about 24 hours, like I said, the resin should still be at a state that's called the soft cure. This means it's hard enough to hold its shape, but it's soft enough to be poked with something sharp such as an eye pin. If you use 2 layers, you'll probably only be able to do this with the second one that was most recently poured. I'm not exactly sold by the eye pin charm method because it doesn't seem extremely secure. Even after the piece has reached a hard cure, it can still twist around, as you can see. So use this with caution, especially if you plan to sell your resin charms. Maybe try to secure them with some strong glue or even a small dot of new resin after making the initial hole. The option I prefer is to use a bail on the back of the resin piece. You might be able to get small packs in craft stores, but I recommend ordering from Etsy or eBay in a large quantity if you plan on making a ton of charms. So sand a small section on the back with sandpaper before gluing it on with super strong glue. And just pretend that I actually glued it on in the footage here, but this is what it would look like if I had. Basically because I only have bronze and I wanted to use silver, so I need to get new. Another way to give your pieces some TLC is to groom those uneven edges. All you have to do is, of course, sand all around until the charm looks smooth, which these two do not yet, so I'll have to fix them later. Even after sanding, the back of each piece will have a slight indent and a lip all around. So to fix this, you can dome the back by mixing a batch of resin and slowly spreading it all around the piece. If you have a glitter backing, then it's gonna feel rough anyway, so putting resin on top will make it smooth. Here's a comparison between these 2 unicorn pieces to show you that using a plastic mold makes the resin appear more shiny and reflective, like this pink one on the left, while using a silicone mold will make the charm seem more matte like the heart-shaped one. If you don't like the matte look, use gloss glaze to add more shine. You could also dome the front with more resin, similarly to the way I showed you with the back. Finally, to add a charm to jewelry, either use a necklace you don't wear anymore and open the jump ring with a couple pairs of pliers to swap out the pendant, or use an empty chain from the jewelry making section of a craft store. You could also attach these to a keyring or even glue a magnet to the back. In the comment section below, let me know which resin piece I made is your absolute favorite from this video. And if you make some pieces of your own, please share a photo with me on any of my social media pages. Those will be in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you do have any questions about things that maybe I didn't cover, then go ahead and leave a question in the comment section and me or someone else will do our very best to answer it for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you've been around here for a while, some of you may know that this isn't actually the first time I've ever tried resin. I did try it a couple years back when I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma at my little apartment there. And the first batch turned out really cute, except I had a lot of sanding to do. The second batch did not cure. So at that point, I was really nervous to make a video, and so nervous to the point where I didn't even make one until now. But there's a lot of factors for that. Part of it being that I live in Ohio again now, and the winters here get super cold, and resin works best in, I think, 70 degrees to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. So when you do resin and you take it outside, it will cure a little bit quicker. So I'll try to take it out on my balcony when I work on it. Yeah. I did keep my old pieces, so if you guys want to see those, I could post pictures on my Snapchat and Facebook if you want. Next week I plan on posting 2 videos, so I hope to see you all back here for both of those. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!